Hola estudiantes, hoy continuamos en capítulo 11. Hoy estamos en páginas 327 a 334. Hoy vamos a aprender la diferencia entre el pretérito y el imperfecto. Narrating in the past, using both the preterite and the imperfect. La gramática en acción, vamos a leerla. Cuando empezó a sentirse mal su hija. Ayer por la tarde estaba resfriada, tosía mucho y se quejaba de que le dolían el cuerpo y la cabeza. ¿Y le notó algo de fiebre? Sí, por la noche le tomé la temperatura y tenía 39 grados. A ver, abre la boca, por favor. So you can see in this that there are lots of verbs in the past tenses. We have the preterite and we have the imperfect. What verbs in here indicate actions? We have empezó, we have notó, and we have tomé. Those are actions. They happened, they began, and they end. And then we have descriptions or conditions of something. And you can just look and say, oh, those are all the imperfect verbs, but they are imperfect because they describe a condition. It's something that was ongoing in the past. It describes it's a description. It's something that was ongoing in the past. So we've learned the preterite in chapters 8 and 9, and we learned the imperfect tense in chapter 10. Now we're going to use them together. They are both past tenses, and they are both used to talk about the same point in the past, but they differ in the point of view about the past that they wish to convey. We have the same in English. You can say, I ran, I used to run, I did run, I was going to run. So you're talking about the action that happened in the past. You're just choosing how to describe it. So these are the main uses of the two tenses, and we're going to expound on them more on the next couple of pages. The preterite is the beginning, end of an action, a completed action, a series of completed actions, an interrupting action. So if something's going along and this happens, this is the preterite. It's the interrupting action. The action on the stage. The imperfect is used to talk about habitual or repeated actions, an ongoing action in the past, background information, it sets the stage for something. It is the interrupted or the ongoing action. So if something is going along and something else happens, this that's going along is the imperfect, and it's the setting for the action. Hay las reglas y la información más sobre el imperfecto y el pretérito y la diferencia entre los dos en página 328 y 329. So we're going to go through all of these together because this is going to help. Reading through all this and talking about this is going to help you understand the difference. So we use the preterite to tell about the beginning or the end of an action. You'll notice as we go through here that there are red like slash marks. That is the preterite, and then the green curvy line is the imperfect. So we use the preterite to talk about the beginning or the end of a past action. You'll see that right there. The beginning or the end. El sábado pasado, el partido de fútbol empezó a la 1, terminó a las 4. Y'all, I'm so sorry. El entrenador habló a las 5. So we use the imperfect to talk about the habitual nature of an action, something you always did. Había un partido todos los sábados. Todos. That's a really good indicator that it's the imperfect. It happened every time. It's the habitual part. Muchas personas jugaban todas las semanas. There was a game every Saturday. Many people played every week. So this is something that happened a lot. It's a habit. So that's why it's the imperfect. It's the habitual nature of the action. And todos or todos is a really good indicator that that's the imperfect. So we have another set, which is completed actions versus ongoing actions. We use the preterite to express an action that is viewed as completed. There is an ending point to this. El partido duró 3 horas. Ganaron los Lobos del Villalegre. So the game lasted 3 hours. And the Lobos of Villalegre won. So those are 2 completed actions. They happened, they're over, they're done with. It happened that one time. We use the imperfect to tell about what was happening when another action took place. So you'll see that green line, it's going along, that's what's happening, and then another action takes place. It's the interrupting action, and it's the preterite. Yo no vi al final del partido. Estaba en la cocina cuando terminó. So I didn't see the end of the game. I was in the kitchen. So that is what was happening when the game ended. So I was in the kitchen and then the game ended. That's the action that interrupted me being in the kitchen. And then we can use the imperfect to talk about simultaneous events. Mientras is usually what we use to talk about this, and mientras means while. Estaba en la cocina mientras todos miraban el partido. I was in the kitchen while everyone was watching the game. Mientras mi amigo veía el partido, hablaba con su novia. While my friend was watching the game, he was talking with his girlfriend. So these are 2 actions that are occurring simultaneously at the same time. So we have another set, which is a series of completed actions versus background details. We use the preterite to express a series of completed actions. They're done, they're over, they happened, we're moving on. Durante el partido, los jugadores corrieron, saltaron y gritaron. So during the game, the players ran, jumped, and shouted. That's what happened during the game. And it's all completed. The game is over. So now we use the imperfect to give background details about many kinds of things. The time, the location, the weather, the mood, the age, the physical and mental characteristics. Todos los jugadores eran jóvenes, tenían 17 o 18 años, y todos esperaban ganar. So all the players were young. It's describing how the players are, what they're like. It tells us how old they are, which we use the imperfect with age. And the mental characteristic or the mood is that they wanted to win. So that's why it's the imperfect. So next we have the interrupting versus interrupted. The preterite and the imperfect frequently occur in the same sentence. In each of the sentences to the right, the imperfect tells what was happening when another action or actions expressed with the preterite broke the continuity of the ongoing action. So you can see right there, we have the imperfect going on, and then the preterite comes in and stops it. Or you can have the preterite that begins it, and then you have the imperfect that tells about what was going on while you were doing that. Miguel estudiaba cuando sonó el teléfono. So Miguel was studying when the phone rang. It's the interrupting action of what was happening. Cuando Angelina abrió la puerta y entró en la casa, Los niños estaban jugando y gritando. So when Angelina opened the door and entered the house, the children were playing and shouting. So the were playing and shouting is describing the ongoing actions. And Angela opening the door and entering the house is the interrupting action of the ongoing stuff. Then we have action versus the setting. The preterite and the imperfect are also used together in the presentation of an event. The preterite narrates the actions. The imperfect sets the stage. It describes the conditions that cause the action or emphasizes the continuing nature of a particular action. Era un día hermoso. Hacía mucho sol, pero no hacía mucho calor. Cuando no tenía que trabajar en la oficina, salí a comprar unas flores. Luego me puse camiseta y pantalones cortos y decidí trabajar todo el día en el jardín. So here we describe the day. It's a beautiful day. And then this is what happened during the day. Remember that when you use saber, conocer, querer, and poder in the preterite, there are different English equivalents. In the imperfect, the English doesn't change. The meaning doesn't change. So if you use the imperfect, the meaning of those verbs does not change from the infinitive. But if you use it in the preterite, there is the meaning change. Okay. So that covers the preterite and the imperfect. It is going to take a lot of practice to get a grip, to get an understanding on this, but go back to these pages and reference them as you're doing the homework, as you're practicing, and you'll start to see why one thing is the preterite and one thing is the imperfect. La nota comunicativa en página 330 tiene algunas palabras y expresiones asociadas con el pretérito y el imperfecto. So some words that are associated with the preterite are ayer, anteayer, anoche, una vez, dos veces, el año pasado, el lunes pasado, de repente, and enseguida. So it's talking about a specific time in the past, a specific moment. De repente is suddenly, so it interrupts the action that's going on. And then some words that are associated with the imperfects are todos, los días, los lunes, siempre, frecuentemente, habitual. Mientras is while. It's the continuing, the simultaneous actions. And de niño or de joven, which talks about when I was young. So you're just describing what was going on. It happened over time. It happened multiple times. So you can go through there and get familiar with that as well. There's really good practice in página 331. Hagan ejercicios C y D en página 332, Rubén y Soledad y la fiesta de Roberto. En estos párrafos tienen que escoger si un verbo es el pretérito o el imperfecto. That is all for today. Keep working on this. Let me know if you need help and if you need some extra explanation about why one thing is the imperfect or the preterite, so you can get a good handle on this as we move forward in this chapter.